Hello YouTube artists, I'm Kelly Hernig and welcome to In the Studio. I wanted to share with you inspiration from the ordinary. I want you to just think of everyday things like envelopes and toothpicks and matchbook covers, paper clips, letters, stamps, that kind of thing. This is how I've been curating different things for me to draw in my Stacks project, also my 100-day project, also inside my sketchbook. And it is a way to just bring those ordinary things and trying to turn them into something personal for yourself, but also extraordinary in your sketchbook. And I want to show you how I kind of curate so that you can kind of start looking around in your house and say, what do I find interesting or intriguing, and what would I like to create with? I wanted to share with you these little cigar boxes or cigarette boxes. You can see how thin they are. I look for them on eBay mostly, and I was just able to find a group of 4 for pretty reasonable. And the reason I like this size, so you can see they're about as big as my hand, but they're very skinny. All of them are very skinny. And what I find is it gives me enough room to put a lot of different things in there, but not so much like this that I am digging for hours, right? I've already curated them to what I like. So let me just tear one of these apart for you. So you can see here I've got some of my little paintings that I've cut out and used them as inspiration. This is a paper clip with a little piece of fabric at the top. I've got just a little piece of paper with a number on it. It's from a book page. I've got little drawings. I've got an old tag. I've got an old library card where I like the hole there, but it's a library card. I've got some stamps. I've got more of my art. Just different things. Cut out hearts, something showing like paint swatches. I've got a little bitty game card. I've got a lotto card. You can see it's just everyday things, right? A stamped letter, and it just goes on and on. This is kind of more of a neutral pile, which is what I like. I've got a little more colorful pile in this one. Like I've got a heart that's been stitched and collaged on, and it's different papers. It's beautiful. I've got a piece of paper with a frame. Look at that cool frame. It's got fabric on it. This is a little picture with a kind of cloth ribbon around it. A clothespin, because look how fun that is. I love that that's got paper on the edge. Just a little printed piece of muslin. Another stitch piece, so you can see they're more colorful on in this page. These are some stickers from my friend when she sent me a gift. There were a bunch of these in there, so I keep all of that, and I usually keep it in that giant tote like I showed you, but I'm learning to pull out little pieces that I can go through, because you saw how quick I got from the top to the bottom. And when I'm digging for something, I am looking for different things. Like this one, this is a piece of scrapbook paper. I just included this in my journal, and I'll show you that. I fell in love with this. Was just done by a punch, you know, that had the scallops like that, but it was a piece of old ledger paper. I bought some handmade paints, and that was the wrapper that was around it. I just thought that was kind of neat. I've got a little card with the word imagine, and so on. So in this, it's just a bunch of different things. A flashcard that has 2 sides. I've got a little piece from eyeglasses. So it just goes on and on and on, right? And I want to show you how I kind of curate these through that big box of stuff. So this is my big box of stuff. I just put alike things kind of together. So this has a bunch of library cards, a bunch of coin wrappers. There's all kinds of stuff. I've got music notes in here. I've got different postcards. I've got different tickets, some old book pages, some old library covers. And this is where I stick everything until I am ready to start sorting. When I'm starting to sort, what I do is I just go through here and I'll pull out a little pile at a time. And this has a bunch of like little tags, think about off of your clothing. I like them because they're different sizes. I've got some ticket stubs from when I went to the Art Institute in Chicago. So those make fun little things. Look at how fun that is. I like the colors. I like the little marks. I like that one. I'm going to pull that. This is kind of a cool thing because it is square. I don't have many square things, and it's got the double H, so I like that because of my last name. It's got also a long tag attached to it. I'm going to take just the big one here. I like that square one. And I'm looking for different sizes. So you can see I've already got this big square, and then I've got this little ticket. Some little fortune telling little cards. I like those. Let's see. What are you waiting for? That's a good one. I'll put that over there. I like these. These are like flat vintage rolls for like pennies and dimes. But I like the colors. So I'm going to try to, let's give me a nice variety of colors here. I like that orange. Yeah, that's nice. And they're all kind of different shapes because coins are different shapes. But look at that rainbow of colors. So that's already something fun. I always like library cards. They're just really fun. I like this one, says Cold Trail. I like the hole. So whenever I'm doing something, that gives me an area that I can hang stuff from, hang stuff through, even punch some more things out. You know, I could put a leaf stem in there and have it dangling out of there, but I can also rip this in half and give myself just a little piece. I'm going to put that library card there. See what I got in these bags here. Oh, these are little bird cards. Look how cute. These are old cigarette cards. They used to come in cigarettes. Those are nice. And they're giving me different ideas on the bird, so I could use it this way or a long ways. So I'm going to put those 3 in there. I've got some fish there. Got different. These are like the, almost like a business card. Those are pretty. But I like the birds right now. I'm going to stick with kind of nature. I've got a Hershey Kiss wrapper. Look how cool that is. And that would be fun because it could come out of anything. Remember I talked about that hole there. I mean, I could have it just going in and out. And that's a nice little tab. It adds a nice little element to it. It's kind of crinkly. I can change whatever it says on the words, but it also gives me another area that I can add texture. This one I have some stamps. Look at those old stamps. Those are beautiful. And some headlines. So let's see if we got any fun headlines and any fun stamps here. Oh, these are all Christmas stamps. Sizzling style. They're all sizzling style, I think. Yeah. Oh, I like that next level. I'm going to leave that one out. So you can see just clipping something like this gives you something different. And if you have a lot of magazines, there's a lot of headlines or words you can clip out. You can paste them into your journal, or else you can just paint them onto your journal as well. Oh, I've got a little ticket book. Now look at this edge here. Look how it's kind of scalloped. I love that edge. So instead of doing like a whole ticket like that, what I'll do is I would try to paint that edge and make it like this cover has been ripped or something so that I can get that little touch of color there. So I know that's a little big, but I'll try that. Just pulling in and digging to see what I can get here. Here's some scrapbook pieces, which these are nice. I mean, look at the different tags options it's giving you. So you can actually, if you were to paint this, think about painting the flower, and then you could add something here, make it look like another layer. I like ideas like this because it shows you how you can rip it, but you could also add another background behind it. So think of this blue being another ticket or tag behind it, and then you've got this on top. Then you can put something that looks stitched maybe this way, just to give you different ideas. I like stuff like this. So that's kind of fun to keep in there, and I'm going to add those. This is a sheet music on the one side. So that's kind of cool. I haven't added any sheet music in anything. This is a seed packet. Look how fun that is. I love the word mustard. And that fits in quite well with my nature. So that looks like it's pretty good. So what I would do with this then is I just start stacking it all in here the way that I I just want it to be nice and neat. So when I go in there to get it, it comes out quite nicely. Okay, I'm gonna have to cut those. But you can see now I've got a whole bunch of different things in here to pull from. And they are ordinary things, right? You saw there's nothing special about these. They're just fun things to play with. I also have this. And I want you to think about ribbons you get or from a gift, or I used to be a quilter, so I always collected the little pieces on the bottom that showed the colors and the numbers. Isn't that fun? So something like this, I know I have more muted ones. I'm gonna look for those. Oh, here's some good ones right there. Those are some nice colors. But I also like that they're numbered like that. They've got different colorations. Here's a nice pink and really pastel one. I'm gonna keep this one. So something like that. Even ribbons. You know, I like to look at the different textures of the ribbon. So this one is striped. It's not gonna let me because it's white. You can see that they're striped. Some are satin, some are heavy, like almost ripped cotton. I've got some yarn in here, some jute in here. I've got all kinds of different things. Here's some tie-dyed or dyed ribbon that's on a tag. So even something like that. I mean, think about painting that in your piece and now adding something else to it. Like you could add a word down here, you could put an initial in here, you could have it hanging sideways so something hangs down this way, you could have it hanging that way, right? You could have it upside down like it's taped somewhere and then hang something down here. So this is an interesting thing to keep in there too. So I'm going to put those two things in there. But I have a whole thing like this that is just ribbons and scraps and anything that comes with like a string tie, like jute or anything like that, I just shove into this little tote. And it's a lot of different things in here that I can constantly pull out. I mean, look at all the different colors, different fabrics. It's the ordinary stuff. Think about when you are given a gift from, especially if you have artist friends who wrap things beautiful. I have several friends like that that just send me glorious packages that I save the paper, I save the ribbons, I save the sweet notes, I save their little stickers, I save all of that, and they become part of my art like this. And again, it's the ordinary stuff that people would probably throw away, but I'm saving it because I see the possibilities of art in it. And I want to show you the last 4 things that I've done inside of my little stacks journal, using these kind of ordinary things and making them extraordinary. So these were some of the pieces that I used for what I'm going to show you. And I'm going to show you how I kind of used them on the surface here first, my table, before I went into anything else. So when you're starting to look at different things like this, I want you to think about how you can layer them. I am finding a lot of joy right now adding layers to my art. And it all started with paper, and it really started with this card and this little piece of scalloped paper, because I don't really do anything. To me, the scallops are very girly, where I'm more of a tomboyish person. So, but putting these two things together, I really like the way that they kind of complemented each other. And then if I stuck this behind, look what that did, right? It gives you something totally different to look at. For this one here, I actually used this in my journal like that. I had a little paintbrush like this over it, and it turned out so cute. I can't wait to share that with you. This was one that I did in my 100-day project. I liked the piece of tape, and I was able to, again, layer things on it so that they stood out. Let's do something like this. You're getting all of these different layers, but yet you have to figure out how you're going to paint those. So which way do I go? Do I do the back first? Do I do the front first? What colors am I going to keep it the same? Am I going to make them brighter like this? Am I going to make them more neutral like this? That's the joy for me. So here are my last couple pages in the Stacks book, where I actually used those kind of things. So you can see here is the Imagine card. So here's the Imagine card that went here. Here's the scalloped card that went just like that. And you can see all I did was trace them. I've already got them here, so why draw them? I just laid them down and traced them with a pencil. So like when I went to do this one, I did the back Imagine first, but then I held this in place, moved it, and then traced all the way around that before I painted. But you can see how fun it is painted. Doesn't it look real, like it was on there? I'm trying to figure out how to use all this paper ephemera that I've collected and how to use it in watercolor. Like, do I actually want to paste it back down, or do I want to actually paint it? And I'm having a lot of fun painting it right now. This piece here, remember I talked about this piece of paper. I just laid it down here. I actually laid it this way and traced it because I liked this sharper edge at the bottom. But I did the design of this side, and you can see just how fun that is. And adding the paintbrush over it gave it a really nice layer to make it look like the paper was below. These things were all sitting on top, and I liked that. I was really excited about seeing that come to life, and it's given me like a new purpose of really examining what I have collected over the years and how I can put them into my journals in a different way. And let me pull this up for you. So that letter H is a cardboard letter H from scrapbooking. I used to keep the K's, the J's, and the H's. Isn't that fun? And adding the paintbrush there I added like a stitch mark here to make it look like it was sewn onto the piece of paper. And then I actually added that dark shadow under the paintbrush so that it seemed like it was together a little bit more, and it gave it a little more depth. And I really had fun playing with that. And this piece here showed up here in my 100-day journal. So you can see that's the background piece here. It's just like that. I didn't make it as dark. I wanted to keep it a lighter texture. So I added the tape on there, and I added like a coffee stain. It just made it look different, but yet it added a lot of texture and a lot of layers and depth for my work, and I really liked that. Here is the one where I used the bird card. So I have the bird card here. I have this here. I have that little scallop piece here. So that went behind. And actually when I first did this flashcard was not there. I just had these two pieces laying there. And when I got done, I liked it, but I really wanted to see something in the back to add a little more depth, a little more layering to the back side. So when I pulled this out, I was like, perfect. It was just the right length. It was, of course, the wrong color, but I made it more neutral, a little more dark, so that it added more weight to the back, which pushes all of this forward. If this was lighter, it would have just kind of melted into the paper, but by keeping it a little dark, it lifted all of this up to the front. So you can see what that looks like. Isn't that cute? And I just traced the bird and traced the bee and traced the lines all from these little cards, and I just transferred them the best that I could. And it made it easy. It made it simplified too, because I was able to play with these things first and see, you know, what kind of shape I liked them. Did I like them tucked behind? Do you like them? Do you like to see the ripped edge? Do you want it all even everywhere and square? And that is what I've been really enjoying about looking through my own stash and seeing what I had. Again, these are ordinary items. I mean, a flashcard, and a scalloped piece of paper. Not too much of excitement there. I've done before, like this is just an index card with a little tab. These are the little paint swatches that I showed you of in the front. Here is a little envelope with a stamp on it. I mean, look how adorable that is. And it adds interest because it's darker than the white of the paper, but yet I always add some kind of mark to it. Here I added the postage mark. I added a little stamp that represents me. It's usually some kind of nature. Here I painted an extra ladybug, but you can see what it did, right? It's an ordinary thing, but when you see it on the page like that, It's simple to me, but it is so beautiful because it's something that I already collect, and adding it into my artwork, making it have a special meaning for me, are really the story that I want to tell inside of these concertina books. So I know that is a piece of me, but someone viewing it is like, what is that? Oh, it's an envelope. How fun is that? I've got those. I should pull something out like that. So that's why I thought it would be fun to show you how I curate, how I come up with these little boxes. And now I've got several boxes going that if I want a brighter thing, I go to my bright box. If I want a little more neutral things, I go to my neutral box. This is a little more fabric and a little more textural. So I have now a texture box. I'm going to have something of nature, so I want to go look for some smaller leaves and smaller acorns and things like that, maybe some seed pods to put into another one, so that whenever it comes time to fill a page with that, I've got some that I can just put here or here and add to my story. I hope me showing you how to find inspiration in the ordinary and making it something really extraordinary like this for your art is something that you will take the time to look around your house, see what you collect, and how can you get it into your sketchbook. When you show a side of you that no one else sees, I think it's a beautiful gift for everyone to witness it, but also for you to just keep going and finding more and more of yourself in your art. It's just paint and paper, but it's so much more when you really look at the story that you're telling. If you were inspired by today's Ordinary to Extraordinary, please leave me a comment. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you haven't subscribed, please click the box. And as always, thanks so much for watching.